this tutorial, we will try to understand what are the different types of DNS records that are available. To begin with, we will start with the A record. An A record is basically a pointer for the domain name to identify like where the server is located. Let us see it with an example. So let's say I have this particular domain which is smarterbrains.in. So as you can see, I have one record with @ and it points to a particular IP address. There is one more record with FTP and it points to the same IP address. So now let us understand what exactly is happening over here. So let's say I ping smarterbrains.in. You can see that this record is actually pointing to this particular IP address which you saw over here. Next, let us try ftp.smarterbrains.in. So you can see that it also points to the same address. Now something different. I have one more record that is added, that is the test.smarterbrains.in. This will point to 3.2.2, which is a different IP address as mapped over here. So A records basically help you map a particular domain or a subdomain to a specific IP address. Next in the list is the Cname record. A Cname record is basically used when you want to alias a particular domain. Let's say you have multiple clients and you want to direct them to a single server. Say you have client 1.smarterbrains.in, client 2.smarterbrains.in, and you want all of them to go to client.smarterbrains.in. In such a scenario, you will actually use a domain. Let's say I want www.smarterbrains.in to actually go to smarterbrains.in. So I have given a Cname record accordingly. So whether I use www or whether I use smarterbrains.in, they will be going to the same address. So this is basically a named record, named alias record, where I'm using a domain name to specify a server. Next in the list is the MX or the mail exchange record. So when you purchase a domain and link your emails with that, something like let's say expert@smarterbrains.in. So to allow the mail server to retrieve your emails, it needs the authorization for the domain. That is where MX record actually comes into picture. So let's say I am using Hostinger's mail service. So my MX record points to the Hostinger mail servers. So only if your domain has this MX records of the respective mail server. Let's say I am using Gmail, then I will have my Gmail mail servers over here. Only then that particular server can actually retrieve your emails. So MX records are used for that purpose. Next important record is the NS record or the name server record. What if you have a domain purchased somewhere else? Let's say I purchased my smarterbrains.in domain at GoDaddy. Now I want to actually point my name server to some other provider like the Hostinger. In that scenario, I need to add a name server record. So as you can see that the name server records are dnsparking.com, which is actually a Hostinger name server itself. So here it is pointing to the name server of itself. Whereas in GoDaddy, I have basically entered the name servers separately and removed the GoDaddy name servers from it. So the name server records basically allow you to point a particular domain to a respective name server. Now let's say I want to host a particular subdomain somewhere else, like let's say AWS. So let's say I want expert@smarterbrains.in to go to some XYZ name server of Amazon AWS.com. In this scenario, the expert.smarterbrains.in will start pointing the respective Amazon AWS name servers, and then you can go and create a DNS zone over there. So this is how you can point specific subdomains to a different name server as well. Alright, I'll just clear out this record as we do not need that. So these are the four main types of records that we normally utilize. Other records we'll discuss in the next lesson. Thank you.